You know the feeling. It's not the momentary fatigue of a day well spent. It's a deeper, more fundamental erosion. It's the cumulative weight of countless mornings where the alarm clock feels like a betrayal, of evenings spent staring at a screen, your mental acuity reduced to a faint, flickering ember. You have followed the script with a diligence that would shame a monk. You have optimized your coffee intake, your morning routine, your inbox zero aspirations. You have traded weekends for deadlines, traded presence for presence, traded the vibrant potential of your youth for a series of metrics that, when examined in the quiet of night, feel utterly meaningless. And for what? A title that means nothing outside your corporate silo? A salary that barely outpaces the inflation of your ambitions? The grudging, hollow praise of people whose respect you don't even truly want? You look at your life and you see a meticulously constructed vessel, but it is sailing in circles, trapped in a dead calm. A year passes, then two, then five. The scenery changes slightly. A different office chair, a marginally larger number on a payslip, a new manager to appease. But the fundamental architecture of your existence remains the same. Your time, your energy, your very consciousness are inputs in a system designed to output value for someone else. You are the engine, but you do not own the car. You are the composer, but you do not own the symphony. You are building, always building, but the edifice bears another's name. This quiet, simmering rage you feel is not a defect. It is your intelligence rebelling against a false reality. It is the part of you that still remembers what sovereignty feels like, screaming against the bars of a cage you were told was a throne. You were raised on a magnificent, tragic, and profoundly effective lie. The lie is simple, seductive, and appeals to the very best parts of our nature: our resilience, our capacity for endurance, our desire to contribute. The lie says that the world is a meritocracy of effort. It says that suffering is a sacrament, that friction is a precursor to reward, that the crown is granted to the one who bleeds the most upon the stones of the kingdom. It posits a universe that is fundamentally just in a crude, transactional way. Input X units of sweat, receive Y units of success. This is a child's model of the universe. It is the morality of fairy tales, repackaged for the adult world of spreadsheets and performance reviews. And it is catastrophically, devastatingly wrong. The world does not reward those who carry the heaviest stones. It rewards those who own the quarry. It does not crown the most diligent soldier. It is ruled by the general who understands terrain, supply lines, and the psychology of both his troops and his enemy. To believe otherwise is to consign yourself to a life of noble, exhausted serfdom. Your hard work is not your ticket to freedom. It is the very commodity that the system is designed to extract from you. The hustle is not the path to mastery. It is the pacification program for the ambitious. This treatise is not about working harder. It is not about waking up earlier, drinking more water, or finding a better productivity app. This is about a fundamental rewiring of your understanding of power, value, and action. This is about learning to see the hidden architecture of the world, the leverage points, the flows of influence, the silent algorithms that govern human fortune, and positioning yourself within it not as raw material, but as an architect. This is about transitioning from a physics-based worldview, force, friction, direct effort, to a metaphysics-based worldview, leverage, perception, strategic absence. We will dissect the cult of effort and expose its theological underpinnings, how it masquerades as virtue to ensure compliance. We will explore the psychological hooks that keep you addicted to motion and validation. We will analyze the traps of competence and the perverse incentives that punish excellence in the wrong domains. We will study the models of the lion and the fox, the builder and the architect, and learn why one is perpetually exhausted and the other is perpetually empowered. This is a call to a colder, clearer, more effective way of being. It requires the murder of a sacred cow, the idea that your worth is tied to your struggle. It demands that you exchange the warm, familiar prison of being needed for the cold, vast liberty of being indispensable on your own terms. It is not for everyone. Many will cling to their fatigue as a badge of honor. Many will prefer the certainty of the cage to the terrifying responsibility of the sky. But you are different. You feel the lie. You sense the rigged nature of the game. That feeling is not your enemy. It is your compass. It is pointing you toward the exit you have been trained not to see. Let us begin by examining the first and most precious resource you are systematically taught to squander: your energy. The thermodynamics of the self, energy as sovereign capital. Society operates on a perverse economic principle regarding individual energy. It treats it as an infinite, renewable, and cheap resource. The entire edifice of modern labor, from the 40-hour workweek, an arbitrary relic of industrialism, to the always-on digital culture, is predicated on the assumption that human vitality is a tap that can be left running indefinitely. The mantra is give your all, leave it on the field, burn the midnight oil. These are not statements of empowerment. They are incantations for depletion. Consider the underlying message. To be valuable, you must convert your entire being into output until nothing remains for you. You must return home empty. This is framed as nobility, but it is, in fact, a form of economic suicide. When you leave it all on the field, you are left with no reserve capital. You have no energy for reflection, for strategy, for deep connection, for building your own structures on the side. You are a spent fuel rod, waiting to be recharged just enough to be spent again. This is not an accident of a poorly optimized system. This is the system functioning as designed. A depleted individual is a predictable individual. A tired population is a docile population. Exhaustion annihilates curiosity, dampens dissent, and eliminates the bandwidth for long-term strategic thinking. When you are running on cognitive fumes, you cannot ask the dangerous questions. Who owns this field I'm leaving my all on? Who profits from my exhaustion? What game am I actually playing, and who wrote the rules? You are managed not just by your boss, but by your own depleted state. Contrast this with the true holders of power. Observe them. The effective CEO, the influential investor, the seasoned statesman. Are they frantic? Are they boasting about their 18-hour days? Are they physically vibrating from stress and caffeine? Rarely. The caricature of the frenetic, sleepless tycoon is largely a myth sold to the aspiring middle manager. Real power operates from a place of reserve. It moves deliberately. It speaks softly because it does not need to shout. It has margins, margins of time, of energy, of attention. This reserve is not laziness. It is strategic capacity. It is the unused portion of your fuel that allows you to change course, to seize an unexpected opportunity, to withstand a shock. A ship riding at maximum capacity, every hold packed, has no room for treasure found along the way. It is also one storm away from sinking. Your life, crammed with obligatory effort, is that overfull ship. Leisure, therefore, is not indulgence. It is the laboratory of sovereignty. In silence, in boredom, in unstructured time, your mind does its most important work. It connects disparate ideas, it simulates futures, it regenerates its creative and critical capacities. The philosopher, the strategist, the innovator, they are not produced on the assembly line of perpetual busyness. They are forged in the quiet spaces between efforts. Machiavelli, exiled and stripped of power, wrote The Prince not in a frenzy of administrative activity, but in the forced stillness of his farm. His greatest leverage, a book that shaped centuries, came from contemplation, not exertion. The first revolutionary act is to reclaim your energy as your primary and most non-negotiable capital. You must audit your life like a ruthless CFO. Every activity, every commitment, every obligation must be held against a simple question. What is the return on energy investment, ROI? Is scrolling through news feeds for an hour yielding strategic intelligence or mental fragmentation? Is that extra round of revisions on a low-impact work project worth the creative drain? Is attending that obligatory social event depleting your social battery for a meaningful connection later? You must become a miser with your attention and vitality, not to become a recluse, but to become powerful. You hoard energy not to hide it under a mattress, but to deploy it with devastating precision on targets of your own choosing. The hustle culture you see glorified is, in large part, a spectacle for the consumption of the striving classes. It is the gladiator's boast before the fight, a performance that serves the emperor who watches from the stands. The true players, the ones who own the Colosseum, are not in the arena. They are in the shadows, placing bets and making rules. Stop confusing motion for progress. Stop mistaking fatigue for virtue. Your energy is the seed corn of your future sovereignty. Stop feeding it to the chickens of someone else's farm. 2. The pathology of the martyr. Unhooking self-worth from suffering. A sinister psychological trick has been performed on the modern psyche, the conflation of suffering with goodness. We have inherited a slave morality disguised as a work ethic. It whispers, if it hurts, it must be working. If you are sacrificing, you are noble. If you are tired, you are earning your place. This is a virus in your value system. It makes you complicit in your own exploitation. You feel guilty for resting. A free Sunday feels like a moral failing. Sitting in silence feels like laziness. You have been conditioned to believe that your worth is a function of your visible struggle. This is the ultimate control mechanism. When someone derives their identity from their capacity to endure, they will actively seek out burdens to validate their existence. They will volunteer for exhaustion. They will never ask for more money, because the reward is the suffering itself, the proof that they are a good soldier. The system loves a martyr. It consumes them with gusto, praises their spirit, and discards the hollow shell when it is no longer useful. Your obituary will be shorter than the job listing that replaces you. Pain is not a credential. Burnout is not a badge of honor. You cannot deposit your fatigue in a bank. The marketplace does not trade in suffering. It trades in value, solutions, and control. Examine history's elites, from Renaissance patrons to old money industrialists. Their status was never derived from how hard they worked. It was derived from what they controlled: land, capital, resources, armies, intellectual property. Labor was the province of those who lacked such control. The aristocrat did not boast of his calluses. He displayed his leisure, his patronage of the arts, his strategic marriages. His power was demonstrated by his distance from direct, effortful toil. Somehow, we have inverted this. We now have millionaire CEOs performing woke rituals of overwork, posting pre-dawn gym selfies, boasting of 80-hour weeks. This is a new form of status signaling for a deranged culture, one that has convinced the owning class to appropriate the aesthetic of the laborer to seem authentic. Do not be fooled. It is a spectacle. The real work, the work of allocating capital, of making key decisions, is not done in those 80 hours. It is done in a few hours of calm analysis. The rest is theater, or poor management, or both. You must perform a brutal surgery on your own psychology. You must detach your self-worth from your struggle. Your value is not in how heavy a load you can carry, but in how intelligently you can redirect weight. Your worth is not in your output of effort, but in your command of leverage. This means you must kill the people-pleaser within. That part of you that nods eagerly, that says, "I'll handle it," that fears being seen as lazy or uncooperative. That part is the internalized slave driver. You must replace it with a cold, evaluative engine. When a new demand is placed upon you, the question is not, "Can I do this?" or "Will they like me if I do this?" The questions are, does this task move me closer to a source of leverage or control? Is this the best use of my sovereign energy capital? If I do this, what do I get in return that I truly want? Power, capital, unique access. If the answer is nothing but approval, you must learn the power of no. Or, more effectively, the power of strategic silence, of vague assent without commitment, of doing the bare minimum required to pass. You are not being paid to be a hero. You are being paid, hopefully, to learn, to position, and to eventually leave. 3. The Competence Trap. Why excellence is a prison. One of the most cruel ironies of the system is that it punishes proficiency in low-leverage tasks. This is the competence trap. You are diligent. You learn quickly. You want to be helpful. You notice the printer is always jammed, and you figure out the obscure trick to fix it. You see the spreadsheet formula is broken, and you teach yourself to repair it. Your boss is bad at managing client emotions, and you step in to smooth things over. You are competent. You solve problems. Here is the reward for your competence. More of the same problem, forever. The system is a greedy, unconscious organism. It identifies a resource, you, the solver of printer jams, and it seeks to optimize its use of that resource. You have now become the person who fixes the printer. This is not a title. It is a life sentence. Your competence has drawn a circle around you. All future printer problems will flow to you. Your value in the eyes of the system is now anchored to that low-value, high-annoyance task. Worse, You have made yourself indispensable to a function that has zero leverage. You cannot be promoted out of it because your absence would cause a minor but irritating system failure. You have traded your potential for sovereignty for the cheap coin of being the go-to person for a triviality. Machiavelli advised the prince to delegate the unpopular and dirty tasks. This is not merely about avoiding distasteful work. It is a law of power dynamics. The work you do defines you. If you do the work of a clerk, you will be seen as a clerk, no matter your title. If you do of a clerk, you will be seen as a clerk, no matter your title. If you do the work of a therapist for your boss's emotional dysregulation, you become defined by that emotional labor. You become a tool, a specific, useful tool for a specific, often low-value job. The escape is strategic incompetence. You must learn to be selectively, deliberately bad at things. You must fail at tasks that would chain you to a low-leverage identity. This requires a level of social courage and self-possession that feels alien at first. You must withstand the pressure to be a team player when what the team needs is a sucker to do the work no one with options would do. The rules of strategic incompetence. 1. Identify high-leverage versus low-leverage activities. High-leverage activities are those where a small amount of your input creates a disproportionately large result or moves you closer to a source of control, e.g., building a relationship with a key decision-maker, analyzing a market shift, designing a system. Low-leverage activities are repetitive, easily taught, and have a linear input-to-output ratio, e.g., data entry, routine troubleshooting, managing basic logistics. 2. Excel visibly at high-leverage activities. Pour your refined energy here. Become brilliant, indispensable, and known for these skills. 3. Cultivate a gracious ineptitude for low-leverage activities. When asked to fix the printer, "Gosh, I never could get the hang of that machine. I think Sarah was amazing at it last time." When handed routine grunt work, "I'd be so slow at that. I'd worry I'd bottleneck the process." Isn't that what the new intern was helping with? Do not refuse angrily. Refuse with a smile and a deflection, framed as concern for efficiency. 4. Never volunteer. The first person to speak in a meeting when a grunt task is presented is a person operating from anxiety and a need for approval. Practice the power of silence. Let the void be filled by others. The weight will find a home, and if you are silent and still, it will rarely be yours. Your goal is to shape your professional identity around judgment, access, and decision-making, not execution. The architect is not famous for how well he swings a hammer. He is revered for the judgment of where to place the building. Aspire to be the one who chooses, not the one who implements the choices of others. 4. The lion and the fox, the fallacy of brute force. Niccolò Machiavelli's timeless allegory provides the perfect model for this transition. In the world, he observed, there are two kinds of power, the lions and the foxes. The lion is brute force. It is strength, courage, direct confrontation. The lion solves problems by charging at them. It roars to announce its presence. It believes in the supremacy of willpower and effort. The lion is the hustler, the grinder, the one who believes that any wall can be broken if you run at it hard enough and often enough. The fox is cunning. It is weak, physically. It cannot fight the lion. But the fox understands the terrain. It sees the traps before they are sprung. It knows how to navigate the shadows, how to use misdirection, how to leverage the strengths of others. The fox does not break the wall. It finds the gate, or it convinces the lion that the wall is its enemy and watches as the lion shatters itself against it. You have been trained, lionized, pun intended, to be a lion. Society celebrates the lion. Stories are told of its bravery. But in the complex, trap-filled landscape of the modern world, a landscape of financial instruments, legal frameworks, social networks, and information wars, the lion is perpetually bleeding, perpetually exhausted, perpetually confused as to why its strength is not yielding victory. The lion's code is linear, effort result. The fox's code is multiplicative, perception * leverage * timing result. The lion is trying to win a game of chess by being the strongest pawn. The fox is the player moving the pieces, or better yet, the one who owns the chessboard. Consider practical applications. The lion at work sees a promotion he wants. He works harder than anyone else. He puts in extra hours, takes on extra projects, delivers flawless, grinding work. He believes the promotion is a reward for meritocratic effort. The fox at work identifies who truly decides on the promotion. It's rarely just the immediate boss. He studies that person's goals, fears, and preferences. He ensures his high-leverage work is visible to that person. He builds a relationship of value, not through subservience, but by providing unique insights or connections. He might do less visible grinding, but his efforts are surgically targeted at the decision-making nexus. He understands the promotion is a political decision, not a meritocratic one. The lion in business sees a competitor and tries to outproduce them, out-hustle them, lower prices further. This is a war of attrition where profit margins bleed out. The fox in business changes the narrative. He reframes what quality means in the market, making the competitor's product seem obsolete. He forms a strategic alliance that locks out the competitor from a key supplier or distributor. He uses legal or regulatory frameworks to his advantage. He wins not by working harder at the same game, but by subtly changing the rules of the game itself. The transition from lion to fox is a transition in consciousness. It is moving from a mindset of force to a mindset of gamesmanship. It requires you to become a perpetual student of the hidden landscape, the org chart behind the official one, the true source of a company's profits, the unspoken fears of your industry, the social alliances that govern advancement. Stop roaring. Start observing. Stop charging. Start calculating. Your greatest strength should not be your capacity for effort, but your capacity for pattern recognition and strategic patience. The architect's blueprint, from labor to design. The most potent metaphor for the life you must design is that of the architect versus the builder. On any construction site, the builders are the essential workforce. They are skilled, they work with their hands, they follow instructions, they endure physical hardship. They are paid for their time and their labor. Their reality is tactile, immediate, and linear. Lay this brick, weld this beam, complete this section. When their specific task is done, or when the building is finished, their engagement ends. They must seek a new site, a new set of instructions. They are fungible. One skilled bricklayer can generally replace another. Their legacy is anonymous. Their sweat is mixed into the concrete, unseen. The architect operates in a different realm. His work is abstract, conducted in symbols and lines on paper or screen. He deals with concepts, load-bearing, aesthetic impact, zoning laws, client psychology, future use. He is not paid for his time at the site. He is paid for the value of the design, a value that is intellectual, multiplicative, and enduring. When the building is complete, the builders disperse. The architect's name is on the plaque. His design dictates the actions of hundreds of builders for years. He is not fungible. A unique design creates its own category of value. You have been told that by being the best, hardest-working builder, you will someday become the architect. This is the central promise of the meritocratic lie, and it is false. Building and designing are different disciplines, requiring different mindsets, different skills, and different kinds of intelligence. The master carpenter is not promoted to become Frank Lloyd Wright. He is promoted to become foreman, a slightly higher-ranking builder. Your goal is not to climb the builder's ladder. Your goal is to stop identifying as a builder altogether. Right now, you are almost certainly a builder in some domain of your life. You are executing plans handed to you by architects, managers, clients, societal expectations. You take pride in the quality of your execution, how straight your bricks are, how fast you can lay them. This pride is your trap. It binds you to the identity of the laborer. To become the architect of your own life, you must shift your primary activity from execution to design. Ask yourself the architect's questions. What is the ultimate purpose of this structure? Is your life's purpose to be a dependable employee, a reliable taxpayer, a passive consumer? Or is it something else, to create, to influence, to explore, to build a legacy of a different kind? What are the load-bearing principles? What are the non-negotiable pillars of your life? E.g., sovereignty over your time, freedom of movement, a specific intellectual pursuit. Most people's lives are built on weak, borrowed principles. Get a safe job, buy a house, retire. What is the aesthetic? What is the feeling, the experience, the vibe of the life you are designing? Is it one of anxiety and scarcity, or of calm abundance and creative power? Who is the client? If you are the architect, you are also the client. But most people are building for other clients, their parents' expectations, their spouse's desires, society's benchmarks. What materials are available? Machiavelli understood that people, events, institutions, and emotions are all materials for the strategist. Your skills, your network, your capital, your knowledge, even your past failures are materials. The builder complains about the quality of the bricks. The architect selects the right material for the right purpose or invents a new way to use a flawed material. This is a profound mental shift. It means when you are given a task at work, you are no longer just a builder executing it. You are an undercover architect studying it. You ask, why this task? How does it fit into the larger design of this organization? What does completing it or failing at it teach me about the system? What skill or relationship can I extract from this that serves my own blueprint? You are no longer laying bricks for someone else's cathedral. You are using their bricks, their mortar, and their paycheck to learn stonemasonry, so you can one day design and build your own temple. 6. The alchemy of leverage, separating effort from reward. The core mechanism that separates the architect from the builder, the fox from the lion, is leverage. Leverage is the physical principle of moving a large weight with a small force applied to the domains of life, money, and power. It is the decoupling of input from output. In the brute force model, 1 unit of effort equals 1 unit of result. In the leverage model, 1 unit of effort equals 10, 100, or 1,000 units of result. Your mission is to systematically identify and acquire forms of leverage, thereby breaking the direct link between your personal labor and your outcomes. As long as your income is tied directly to your physical or mental effort per hour, you are in a trap. You are trapped.